Every single day, you make hundreds of decisions. Some are automatic, like hitting the brakes when the light turns red. Others are deliberate, like choosing a career, an investment, or a partner. In his Nobel Prize-winning book, Thinking Fast and Slow, psychologist Daniel Kahneman reveals that these choices come from two very different systems in the brain. One is fast, intuitive, and emotional. The other is slow, rational, and deliberate. Understanding how these two systems work and how they trick us is one of the most powerful tools for better decision-making. In this summary, you'll discover the key lessons from thinking fast and slow and learn how to make smarter choices in your everyday life. Lesson 1. Two systems of thinking. Kahneman calls them System 1 and System 2. System 1 operates automatically. It's quick, effortless, and emotional. It helps you recognize faces, finish familiar sentences, and react instantly to danger. System 2 is slower and more deliberate. It requires effort. You use it when solving a math problem, checking a complex contract, or learning a new skill. Most of the time, we rely on System 1 because it's efficient and saves energy. But here's the catch. It often makes mistakes, and System 2 is too lazy to correct them unless we force it. Lesson 2. The tricks of System 1. Heuristics. To save time, System 1 uses shortcuts called heuristics. They're useful, but they distort reality. One example is the availability heuristic. We judge how likely something is by how easily it comes to mind. If you hear about a shark attack on the news, you suddenly believe the ocean is more dangerous, even though the actual odds didn't change. Another is the anchoring effect. If the first number you see is high, it skews your judgment. For example, if a realtor shows you a $1 million house first, a $700,000 house suddenly feels cheap, even if it isn't. These mental shortcuts create predictable biases that affect every area of life: money, health, relationships, even politics. Lesson 3. Loss aversion. One of Kahneman's most famous findings is loss aversion. Simply put, losing hurts more than winning feels good. The pain of losing $100 is almost twice as strong as the joy of gaining $100. This explains why investors refuse to sell losing stocks, why gamblers chase their losses, and why people resist change even when it could help them. We cling to what we have because the thought of loss is unbearable. Recognizing this bias can help us take calculated risks and avoid letting fear control our choices. Lesson 4. Prospect theory. Kahneman and Amos Tversky developed prospect theory, which earned him the Nobel Prize. They showed that humans are not rational when facing risk. Instead, our decisions depend heavily on how choices are framed. Take this example. Group A is told a treatment has a 90% survival rate. Group B is told the same treatment has a 10% death rate. Logically, these statements are identical. Emotionally, they are worlds apart. Most people choose the first option. This shows that language, context, and presentation strongly influence our judgment, often more than facts. Lesson 5. The illusion of understanding. We like to believe the world is more predictable than it really is. This is the illusion of understanding. For example, after a stock market crash, we hear endless explanations: greed, poor leadership, weak policies. It all sounds logical in hindsight, but the truth is, no one could have predicted it with certainty. Kahneman warns us not to confuse a good story with reality. We overestimate how much we know and underestimate the role of luck and randomness. Lesson 6. Overconfidence. Confidence feels good, but it often disguises ignorance. Kahneman found that experts chief executive officers, and even doctors regularly overestimate their accuracy. Investors, for example, believe they can consistently beat the market, yet research shows very few can. Doctors feel sure about diagnoses that later turn out to be wrong. The lesson? Don't let confidence fool you. Ask for data, second opinions, and evidence. Lesson 7. The planning fallacy. One of the most common biases is the planning fallacy, the tendency to underestimate how long tasks will take. Think about construction projects that go years over schedule, or personal goals like writing a book or losing weight. We almost always believe we'll finish faster and cheaper than reality allows. Kahneman suggests using an outside view. Look at how long similar projects took, not just your own optimistic estimate. This one insight can save time, money, and frustration. Lesson 8. Everyday biases. There are many more biases Kahneman explores. The halo effect. If we like one trait of a person, we assume all their traits are good. Substitution. When faced with a hard question, our brain quietly swaps it for an easier one without us noticing. Priming. Even subtle words or images influence our behavior unconsciously. These hidden forces shape our decisions constantly, and most of the time, we don't even realize it. Action steps. So, what can you do with all this knowledge? Slow down. When the decision is important, engage System 2. Question your first instinct. Ask, am I reacting emotionally or thinking logically? Be aware of loss aversion. Don't let fear of losing stop you from making smart choices. Check your planning. Use real-world evidence, not just optimism. And most importantly, remember that confidence doesn't equal truth. Always be willing to doubt yourself. This was Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel Kahneman, a book that exposes the hidden forces behind our decisions and shows us how to think more clearly. If you'd like the full PDF and MP3 version of this summary, you can download it now at MindShelf. Link in the description. And don't forget to subscribe to MindShelf, Wisdom in Minutes, for more book summaries that sharpen your mind and save your time.